Hello guys, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I hope you're having a really good time. Today is Sunday, and that does mean that today we're building a keyboard. Well, we're building one keyboard twice, because we're building the same keyboard in different configurations. So we're going to build two Iron 165's. There is a slight difference between the two of them. One is a standard edition and the other one is the FE edition, the special edition, the limited edition as well. So lots and lots to do. Two different types of switches, two different colors boards, two different colored keycaps, two different types of stabilizers even. So lots to do today, which means I'm going to need this coffee to keep me going. Let's see who we've got in chat today. Anarchy got first with saying, "Hi Jay, looking forward to the double build." Me too, man. Thank you very much for being here. I know you messaged me earlier on today. I will reply to you. I apologize that I haven't already. Rabbit Sensei says, "Let's go." Absolutely, man. And I need to send you something as well. It's in the drawer to the side of me, so we'll sort that out this week. Beddingting E. Hello. Penguin Drop-ins, love the new logo, my dear. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you very much for being here as well. Gouty says, "Eat pant, only if they're yours and only if they're a week old." That's the rule. My Thykes here as well as Tropics Blocks, or Tropics Box. Hey man, good to see you. Muzaride's here as well. And Eos says, "Making pour over coffee and got this chill beat playing." Yeah, this is a new playlist I found on the Twitch stream beats thing that they've got. So they've got this whole app that you can use to play tracks through, and it has a ton of different playlists as well as radio stations and all sorts of other bits and pieces. And I was playing around with it last week and I found this really cool chill soundtrack. So that's what we're playing today. It's 3 hours long, so if it stops, I apologize. Tom Barnes is here as well. He says, "Errol Goots." Okay. Rabbit Sensei is looking for his sub badge. It is there, man. You should be able to see it. I can see it. Jay Saints is here. Good evening, man. Good sir. How are you doing? AKB James here as always. Thank you very much for joining, dude. Nelly says, "You might need another coffee." That sounds like a lot of work. It is. Like, I am fully expecting that we're going to get to like midnight here and I'm going to have to stop the stream because I've got to be up for work in the morning. So yeah, we will see. We will see. Risk Runner's here as well. He says, "Good evening." Storsnus, hands up. Whoop whoop. That's the way to do it. Butterface is here as well as Porcupine and Chris Bezic. Butterface says, "Good evening, Jay. Looking forward to the builds. Can't wait to try them out." Okay, try them out. So actually, I know the guy's Discord name, who these boards are for. I'm wondering if from that message, if Butterface is that guy, because it's two different names. So if Butterface, if you're the guy, then say so. That'd be good to know. Kaja Hearts is here as well. Choke Me Daddy as well. That's a weird username. Not sure I like that one. First time on stream, what can we expect? Well, today I'm going to be building two different boards. We'll flip over to the cameras in a second so you can actually see the top-down view, which is, wait, it's just over there. You'll be able to see that view a little bit better shortly, and it will be all nicely prepared and everything else on the desk. And we'll build two keyboards, and you'll see me build them from scratch. Now, the client does say that the switches and stabilizers are lubed and tuned, so we will see if the stabilizers do need any work or not, or if they can go straight in the boards, or if we need to tweak them. I have got some lube and everything else prepped to one side, so we'll see. Then we'll solder them all together. We'll put the switches in, plates in, solder them all together. The builds are quite different from one another, so we'll probably do a little bit of a...
Very nice.
Ooh, very nice. Thank you very much, Skewed, for that subscription. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. You'll notice I fixed the sound for those. Then we'll build them together. We'll have them side by side. I'll compare them. I'll actually grab my personal Iron 165 as well. We'll compare that to it too, and we'll have maybe 3 of them on the desk, and you guys can take a look at them and ask questions and all sorts of things. While we're doing the soldering as well, we also play a little game that's called Ask Jay Anything, which means if you tag me using the @TopClack command, you can ask me anything at all as long as it's stream safe. It has to be stream safe, but you can ask me anything at all, and I will do my best to answer. So you can ask me about cars that I collect, you can ask me about my keyboard collection, or you could do something really interesting and new and ask me about my thoughts on them being able to take a picture of a black hole last year, or something really out there, the last series of Breaking Bad, or whatever you want opinions on. I will try and provide my thoughts, input, and opinions. It doesn't matter what it is. You guys can think of anything for that. So if you wait till we're soldering, you can tag me and ask those questions, and then we'll do a bit of a sound test at the end, and we'll see how the stream goes. So yeah. Charlie here is here as well. Penguin droppings there too. Langlandia, Mr. Langlandia, you need to tell me how that steak was. So for those of you who don't know, Langlandia used the base of one of these boards today on an open fire to cook a steak. So he took a solid, I think it was copper or brass, I can't remember, copper, I think, heated it up and fried a steak on the outside of a keyboard case. He did that. It was a thing. He did it. Go check out the link. Penguin Dropping is dropping the link in there. Go check it out. Go have a look. Yeah, it's a thing. I don't have any words for it, Lang, other than you baller. You absolute baller. Japani Trot's here as well. Thank you very much. Skewed, I didn't realize you'd subscribe for 23 months. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. 23 months is huge. It's huge. Butterface is confirming that he is the client. He is the owner of these two boards. So thank you very much for joining the stream, man. I appreciate being here. Must feel strange to have 3 irons in your possession at the moment. Technically, I have 4 because I have an iron and an ironing board out in the workshop that I use to iron my desk mats from time to time. So technically, I have 4 irons here. 5 if you count my soldering iron. That's an iron of sorts. So I think we're getting there. Glasses says, can you change the title to Jay builds 1 iron 165 and gives the other to Glasses, whom he loves very much. Glasses, you know I love you, man. I would do anything to... In fact, if you want to borrow an iron 165 for a short period of time, you can borrow my personal board. How about that, dude? That's how much I care about you. You can borrow that board. Perhaps it could be used in something. Perhaps you could pimp it for me. Perhaps, if people haven't seen this, Glasses does an amazing segment on his YouTube channel where he pimps out people's keyboards. You could pimp out my Iron 165 for me. How about that? Feels like a good idea. Porcupine says steak. Yeah, steak. He cooked a steak. He fried a steak on a keyboard case. That's a thing. Hey, KB James says, get out, Jay. Hey, I'm old enough to do the dad jokes now. I'm old enough for that. Males of average height have about 4 grams of iron in their body, so we all have part of an iron 165. Well, interestingly, you say that because the iron that is in some of the iron 165 keyboards, there isn't any, may have come from people. Aneo says Glasses is about to pimp it with MX Browns. I can't remember what it's in it. I think H1 switches are in it right now. It's just over there. It's like 10 feet away. But we'll see. Jay, I'm not going to lie. Whatever I do will invariably make it worse. Cook food on it. It's possible. Sticker bomb it. Yeah. There are things you could do. Okay, so we talked about what we're going to do today. There is absolutely iron in the steel. Okay, yeah, okay. So in the... Okay, like, so yes, you are right. In the stainless steel versions, there is a small amount of iron, but it's not iron, it's stainless steel. Iron is just one of the compounds that makes up stainless steel. You're getting far too technical for me here. And in the standard edition, which we're going to build first, there is no iron. There is no iron because that's aluminium. In before someone proves that there's iron in brass. You are technically correct, good sir. Yes, you are technically correct, which is the best kind of correct, as we all know, because there is absolutely iron in stainless steel. You are right. I can't say anything else than that. The truth is being bent there a little bit. It is. He's getting me on a technicality. It's like saying that there is white paint in blue paint. Sure, because they started off with white paint and they added a bit of blue paint to make, or blue dye to make it blue paint. He is absolutely right if he said that. So there you go. Okay, let's take a look at the boards. Flip over the cameras. You can laugh at my shamelessly bad coffee art today, yeah, we'll do the builds and we'll take it from there. Okay, guys. So bad coffee art, as I said, you can see that the heart was kind of there. It was kind of there, almost, maybe. Don't mock me, please, guys, for my terrible coffee art. It is good coffee, though. It is really good coffee. Okay. She's here as well. Thank you very much for joining, She. Okay, so first build. I need to check this. There's 2 packs of stabilizers here. One is for one build and one is for the other build. So the first build we are doing is the standard edition, which is Helios with Zeal stabilizers, which are these ones. GMK Bingsu. We're going to use an aluminium plate. We're going to do full backspace, standard caps key, Sangam bottom row. That's what we're going to do on build 1. So let's take a look at that. So we have the Zeal stabilizers here. There are lots of stabilizers in this pack. I don't think we'll need to use all of these, but he's literally lubed and built every stabilizer that comes in a Zeal pack. No comment on what the switches in the tray are. Not at this time. But they're not Baltics, no. These are the switches we are going to use. These are Helios, and these are lubed. I can see the lube on them. Feel very smooth. There you go. I think these are the type of Helios that are called Securios, I think. I think that's what the pink ones are called, Securios. Does it say on this? It doesn't say on the outside, but I think the pink ones are called Securios eventually. Those are the switches we're going to use. This is the key set we're going to use for this first board. This is GMK Bingsu. I'm just going to put that to one side. If you haven't seen it, you'll see it towards the end of the build. And then this, I think, is the first board that we're going to build today. So this should be the standard edition. Now I only went by weight. I picked up the 2 bags and I put the bags in the piles depending on the weight of the bag rather than checking it. So I think it's going to be right. So you can see it comes in this nice bag. Also, let me zip this back up. Let me zip this back up because I want to show you this. I probably showed this on my build stream when I did my personal board, but the actual zips have the Smith & Rune logo on there. Can you see that? The Smith & Rune logo on the zip. And I think, if I remember rightly, on the other side, yeah, it's got it on both sides. There you go. Bet it's an iron. Hey man, anything could be an iron if you heat it up hot enough. So, you know. Okay, let's take a look. So some of you might remember. Oh, we've got more stabs. We have got more and more stabilizers. Interesting. You've sent me 3 packs of stabilizers. You can tell I checked all this over before the stream and double checked everything I had. I'm going to put them to one side. I'm going to assume that these are the ones for the actual build. So you can see in here, guys, we've got the board. I did promise in the Smith & Rune Discord when they started to run the group buy that if anyone got a plum iron, I would build it for free. Yeah, guess how many plum irons I've built. Okay. Ugh. Trying to get this out. It's very stiff. There we go. And here is the wonderful, wonderful plum colour. And then if we flip it over, you see it's got this really nice black base with the brass weight as well. The colour on this is so good. It's so good. And as an outsider, if you want a keycap set to go with this, GMK 8008 works remarkably well. In fact, let me show you guys. So this isn't exactly the same color, but it's a very, very similar color. And as you can see, GMK 8008 really, really works on these types of colors. Surprisingly well, in fact. So if you're ever going to get a plum or purplish board, definitely take a look at GMK 8008. Big shout out to Dixie. Okay, so we are going to build this with an aluminium plate in ISO. I believe that this is the aluminium plate here. So you can see it's got the Smith & Rune logo at the top. We've got the ISO enter here, and of course all of the other bits as well. Very nice fixed plate, looks really, really good. Really, really happy with building with that. We'll wrap the brass plate up and we'll put it back in the package when we take the board apart. Which we should probably do just about now, actually. Oh, the bag was dusty. The bag was dusty. Gaskets, more gaskets, and PCB. The daughter board is already installed, so we don't need to worry about that. And then, of course, we've got our cable as well. Okay, so first job is to take the board apart and take the existing plate out. I believe these are hex screws, so let's guess that we need this driver. Nope, needs slightly smaller. Okay. Let's go back and catch up with chat while I take this apart. Are those Gator and Baltic switches? No, we did talk about that. Moosewright says it's a realistic heart. Sure, in the coffee it was a realistic heart. Yeah, let's go with that. Faded linears? No, I don't mind telling you what they are. It's not really a secret. I was just being facetious before. These are KTT sea salt switches. That's what these are. I want that on my zips. Yeah, we have some PT ones, prototypist ones coming in. I'm very excited for those. Is this an R2 unit? No, this is the old. I say old. This is the original Iron 165. Both of these are. I'm going to take that out. The plate in the board at the moment is brass. We're going to use this aluminium one here instead. Trays. Yeah, trays soon, man. Soon. They are going into a second round of prototyping at the minute and may or may not be available in the near future. Something I'm working on with Tom. I'm not sure if Tom's watching, but something I'm working on with him. How much did this cost? Said Faisal Dante. I think my original iron was like $800. There's two here, and I believe... I mean, I can be corrected if I'm wrong here, but I believe that the second one we're going to build is actually the Vickery auctioned one. So I have no idea what the actual cost was, and that would be entirely up to the owner to disclose that information. Okay, there we go. That's the top case off. We don't need this plate, so we're going to move that to one side. Okay. Let's show you guys a few things on the inside. So you can see on the inside here we have a channel just there, that's for the daughterboard cable, and we also have these grooves on the outside just here. That's where our gaskets are going to sit. They'll all go all around, and effectively what we're going to do is going to put our gaskets into those just like so, all the way around the board. Also have it on the sides as well, because you can see that the plate is supported from the sides too. Put the gaskets in first, get these done. GMK 8008-135. Yeah. ISO. I think we're building both of these ISO actually. I'll have to refer back to my notes to double check, but I believe we're building both of these ISO. Yeah, they're both going to be ISO today. So just going to install the gaskets first. This is nice, easy, simple thing to do on these boards. Really nice gasket materials. So we're just going to line them up, and then once they're in position we press them on nicely. Both sets of Zeal stabs have been lube prepped. You can go ignore the GMK ones, they're lubed with 3204 and were done by me ages ago, so probably not very good. Okay, so we're going to use Zeal stabs for both builds then. Butterface. Zeal stabs for both builds, we can do that. That is absolutely fine, no issues, not a problem whatsoever. Is the middle tray a purple anode? Yes it is. It's purple anodization. There you go. These trays are a project I'm working on with a UK designer called Tom. We're just about to order the second round of prototypes, and then we're going to order some for in-stock production, so they'll be in stock on my web store. If they sell out really quickly, we'll just do a pre-order for a second round. They're not magnetic, no. Jay, will you be stocking GMK Striker? Yes I will. Let me know, guys, if the music's too loud as well. I can quiet it down if it's too loud and you can't hear me. the daughter board's already been installed, so I'm not going to cut this gasket. If you remember back to my build, I cut the middle out of this gasket just here, purely because that's where the daughter board sits, just here. And there's actually nothing to support the gasket in the middle just there. It's really hard to show you guys on here. There's nothing to support the gasket, but as the daughter board's already installed, we won't change that or amend it on this particular one. I can't live without ISO enter and a full left shift, but why do people hate so much on ISO? I think it's mainly a meme, and people are always scared of what they don't like, so what they're not used to. So if it's not what people are used to, there's kind of like a bit of friction about it. And I think that drives a lot of the ISO hate. I think a lot of it's just memeing though. Oh, I'd probably go with Jim K. Darling on the KFE, I think. Olivia's great, but it looks better on darker coloured boards in my view. But of course, you are free to disagree with that if you do disagree. Okay, that's the gaskets installed on the base. Now we're going to install the gaskets on the inside of the top case. And you'll see here, we have the same grooves just on the inside as well. You can see those here as well. So we're going to put the gaskets on the inside of the top case, and then it will be time to move on to the actual build itself. If we can get this in place. Do you have a favourite spring weight for Holy Pandas? Yes, 72 grams is my favourite spring weight for Holy Pandas. But I tend not to build with them very often these days. I do think there are probably better tactile switches on the market right now than a Holy Panda. And I actually conversely think that the glorious Holy Pandas are probably the best iteration of Holy Pandas that you can buy stock. Anio says, is it possible to have the purple in a darker shade, like the midnight purple, but with colour changes and just standardization? Yeah, you could do the purple in a darker shade if you wanted. For the stock and the group buy that we're going to do, they're probably going to stay that colour. But there are darker purples that are available. I just prefer the pastel type purple for the trays. But that will be up to Tom and I to decide when we actually get around to running the group buy and the in-stock purchases. Short left shift, can't say I've seen that. Right shift though, always split that. Short left shift, you'll see on this board here, that is the true way to do ISO. With the vertical enter key. It's the correct way to do the ISO layout. I was asking about the purple for other thing. Oh, right, okay. Darker purple, darker purple. Okay, yeah, all right, Gio. I've heard you. I'm just not going to listen to you. There is a reason for wanting to do the pastel colours in the trays. And that's basically because they're nice. And you don't want to use all your good ideas in round one. There'll also be some lodestone orange ones as well. We're going to do some lodestone orange ones too. Okay. Have you seen the new emerald switches? They look super nice. Yeah, they do. They look great. Physically, they look fantastic. I think I saw Clavier using some on Instagram the other day, actually. I could be wrong, but I think I saw that. Okay. Gaskets installed, so we can now put the top case back on the bottom case. And the next job is to start to put together the actual build itself. Sean's is here as well. He says, hey, good afternoon, mate. Good to see you. These are not round 2 irons. No, these are round 1 ones. Future End says keep that shade so it matches the alt laser I have. Nice. Bismarck lotion. Dude, have you not seen behind me? I have like 20 keyboards on the wall, man. Like, this is what I do. I build keyboards. That's why I have them. Gio, will this make you feel better? Does that make you feel better, good sir? Does that make you feel better? But yeah, Bismarck, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And then I also have, you can see 1 and 2. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then, you can't quite see it, but this side there's also another 4 on there, 4 on the desk, and then another shelf across the back. That's there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on. So, you know, that's just the way it is. We're building keyboards. That's what happens. Okay, so now we've got our PCB ready. You can see that it's got the lovely Canon Keys logo on there, as well as the Smith & Rune logo. It's now time to put our stabilizers in. Gio's now happy. Okay, man. Good for you now that you're happy. Good for you now that you're happy. Okay, so we want the 7U spacebar because we're building this Sengan. I think we're building them both Sengan bottom rows. So these are both going to have the same layout ultimately. And then we want a full backspace because he doesn't mention to split it. We want the ISO enter. And that's it. That's all we need. There we go. That's all we need. In fact, were there screws in there? Nope, no screws. So, we are now looking for stabilizer screws. Okay, were they in the other bag? No. Okay, so there are screws in these stabilizers, so we shall have to take them out of here. Let's find that bag of screws. There we go. Good to see you, mate. How you been doing? I'm good, Sean's. How are you doing, man? I hope you're doing really, really well, and I'm hoping that. See, this is why I didn't want to use the other tray like Gio. This is why we do this. That's why we have these trays, Gio. Make things easy for ourselves. Millie asking if you can see more of my car. Which car? I have 6. Although I don't actually have one at home yet. But I do own 6 cars. So I'm not quite sure which one you mean. I'm just going to clip the stabilizers in. The owner has promised me that these are lubed. I'm going to trust him. And then if they're not, we can blame him, not me. I can always touch them up for you, dude. If they need touching up, we can always arrange that, don't worry. I'm just being sarcastic at the moment. Now those are in place, we're going to screw them in. What switches are those in the blue tray? Those are KTT sea salt switches. I got them in just as a sample. They're actually pretty good for the price. Glass is asking what I built my F1 with. Switches, grease, and solder. That's what I built it with. And I used some tools to do it. There we go. Is your collection in the triple digits? My keyboard collection is in the triple digits, yes. I don't have an exact number. I couldn't tell you what the number is, but it's definitely in the triple digits. I have over 50 vintage boards alone, I know that, because I did count those the other day, and we got to 55, not counting typewriters. So it's definitely in the triple figures. I don't have an accurate count. If I was going to guess, I'd guess somewhere around the 200 mark, but I don't know for certain. When you're screwing screws in for your stabilizer like this, guys, just make sure you don't over tighten them. You want to go until you feel it's snug up to the PCB, and then you want to go 1/4 turn tighter, but no tighter than that. If you go any tighter than that, you risk damaging the PCB, and that's not a good thing. But there we go, stabilizers installed, guys. That was really easy. Why isn't every build this easy? And that's when we start to have problems, when I start to say things like that. Okay, so now we've done the stabilizers. Next job is to put the plate and the switches in place. When's Pete going up for sale? Pete will be going up for sale after the new truck is arrived and street legal. So the new truck will take a little bit of time for me to get through the UK's regulatory system and tests. So once that's done, then Pete will go up for sale. Pete is my green truck, if you haven't seen him, but he will go up for sale once the new truck is in place. Okay, that switch really doesn't want to go in that slot. Hold on. Are these switches actually... Okay, so this switch isn't actually closed. Let's put that to one side. Either that or we're going to have a really bad day with my thumbs today. Oh man. Okay. Can we have some Fs in chat for my thumbs early, guys? Because this board is going to kill them already, I can tell. Holy shit. Yeah, okay. So, we're actually going to have to... Yeah, Fs are going to need it in chat, guys. Oh, man. Okay. Why do we do this? Why do we agree to do these builds for people? I don't know. Okay, so these are taking a fair bit of pressure to get in. What my aim is to do here, guys, is to get a... That's definitely not closed, isn't that switch? Is to get enough switches into the PCB and plates that they will support the rest of the plate as I start to put the switches around them in. So what's happening at the minute is if I'm trying to put a switch in here and then at one side of it, the plate's bending up and down. So if I can space out some switches all around it, the switches that are already in place should support the rest of the switches. So I can push them into the plate and PCB at the same time. That's the plan. And we'll see how that goes. The last thing I want to do is bend any part of this plate out of sequence or out of shape, because it's aluminium, so it's very easy to bend, especially with some of the more thin parts around the gasket bounce. So we need to make sure that we're being very careful. Making sure we haven't got any bent pins, so it's all going to go into the PCB nicely. How many times do I need? Do I say you need to, a thimble, a thimble? Yeah, I do. You are absolutely right, Anarchy. I'm a glutton for punishment. So many bent pins. You are absolutely right. I can't defend myself because you keep saying it to me and I never listen. So, Anarchy, you are right. You are 100% correct. You are a legend in your own lunchtime, and I really should listen to you. Get a shitty keycap. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I don't like to do that because I've damaged keycaps and damaged stems in the past doing that, so I don't really want to use a keycap to push them in, unless I have to. Okay. She says, can I get my weekly OGR update, please? Yeah, sure, you're banned. That's the weekly update. Thank you very much for asking. Is that an alloy plate? Yes, it is. This is an aluminium plate. There is a brass plate that came with the board, but we're not using that today. As I say, I'm just trying to spread these switches out so that we've got enough to be able to support as we put more in when it's in the PCB. So, oh, man, some of these are really tight. Let's go for one in the bottom corner. I'm just trying to pick ones with the straightest pins as well, just to make sure everything goes in nice and evenly. Okay, let's try putting this all together now. I really don't like doing them this way because you can often lead to severely bent pins on switches. You can end up missing holes, you can end up snapping things, but it's going to be the only way we can do it to protect the integrity of the plate on this build. So let's just check we didn't bend any of those pins as we put them in. We did. We bent at least one, so we'll take that out in a second. Okay, so we just bent one pen. And this is where we can't get this out because it's too tight. Okay, this switch does not want to come out now. Okay. Bad move, guys. Now we're going to have to take it apart and push the switch out, or fix the pin. I told you, things would start to go wrong if I said everything was going easily. Okay, so let's see if we can fix this pin. Just going to grab it with the flush cutters, bend it straight, and then we'll try that again. Just going to try and fix the front of the switch where it's crushed in a little bit. There we go. Okay, second time lucky. Okay. That worked better. There we go. Okay, let's catch up to chat. I feel like the music stopped. Nope, there it is. Okay, so where did we get to? I'm new to this custom keyboard community. I'm curious, is there an advantage in having custom keyboards? Faster typing, better control for games, or purely preference? It's about typing experience. You can have a different feel in terms of the board. You can have different qualities, different weights to the board, different sound profiles. You can experience many different things through many different keyboards. They all offer different things. It's like having cars and saying a car will get you to A and B, and it will. That's what cars are designed to do. That's what all cars do. They will drive you, you know, you can drive them around, but every single car will feel a little bit different or will have different characteristics in terms of handling and etc. Keyboards are much the same. You can get different feelings, different experiences from them. Yeah, there's a whole world of unexplored material sciences and designs, all sorts of things that happen in custom keyboard world. Okay, we're going to have to be careful with this side. It just needs pushing down when we solder the switches in place because it's slightly pulling away from the plate. Nothing we can't fix as we solder, and more switches might hold it together. We shall see. Get a junk keycap to use to help it. Yeah, I know, yeah. How often are you unable to get the switch all the way flat into the PCB? Very rarely. I've never not been able to do it on a keyboard build. Like I think I've had the issue a handful of times, and when you do have the issue, I've always been able to get them flush just through either adjusting what I'm doing, trimming the plate, shaping the switches better. There's always a way to get them to sit flat. Always a way. Even if it means cutting my own plate on the laser cutter, there are always different ways of doing it. So I don't think I've ever experienced a position where you can't get the switches flat. You just sometimes have to think outside the box if it's not going quite the way it should. And as always, it's just about taking your time and just being gentle with it. Where did I get the trays? These trays are prototypes for an upcoming project from Prototypist in conjunction with Tom, the guy behind GMK Deep Navy, GMK Retro Cyrillic Beige, Cyrillic Beige even, and a few other projects as well. GMK Fuji, which is just about to go into IC2. He's a very nice young gentleman. Also behind the Isla keyboard, which I sent him the latest prototype of earlier this week. Porsche, says Viz. Porsche? I don't think so. Millie says, I want to see more of the 240, but what else do you have? I have a 1989 VW Caddy pickup truck in green. It's like a British racing green, officially called Irish green, but it's very, very close to racing green. I have a 1999 3-litre turbo diesel Peugeot 306. That is in a baby blue grey colour. It's off the road at the moment, but I also have that as well. The VW Caddy actually has been engine swapped as well, so that's now got in it instead of a 1.6 petrol, it's actually got a 2-litre turbo diesel AAZ engine in it. So petrol swap that. We also have the 1976 Datsun Fairlady Z. Just trying to bend this pin so it's perfectly straight. It might work. And then I have a 2018 Kia Sportage, which I bought brand new, which is going to go away soon. I'm going to get rid of that soon and replace it with something else. Then I have a 2011 Peugeot 107, which my wife drives. And then I also have, which has just arrived off a boat, which I haven't collected as yet, but I do technically own, a new pickup truck as well, which is going to replace the green Caddy, green pickup truck. And you might see that on my Insta in the next few weeks. That's I won't say any more details about it, but it's a mid-70s truck as well. Did I order 8008 inks? No, I didn't. No. Your £90 switch pullers fail at a job. I think any switch puller would fail at this job because they're so tight in the plate. I don't think it was a switch puller. I think it's more the actual tightness of the plate and the switches. But yes, it did fail, and it was £90. But I don't think it was the tool's fault. A poor workman blames the tool. I think it was me that was the fault. Okay, just got a few bent pins here. I'm just trying to fix these. Okay. Miata is always the answer. Yeah, they're good cars. I normally just remove the one switch and fix the pin. Got a tiny ass needle nose plier. I used to. Yeah, the issue was I couldn't get the switch out, Geo. Like this plate is so tight that I would probably have to use the press to get it out from the other side, and I didn't really want to do that for one switch. So it was easy to fix the switch in situ, given where we'd got to in the build. I'm hoping I've not bent any other pins as we go through. That's why I'm being meticulous over making sure they're straight before I put them in, much more so than I usually would. Because normally I don't mind fixing them, but on this particular build, I think it will be a pain. How do you mount the top cam and what the lens you're using? So the lens I use on both cameras is the same 1650 OSS lens that's on the Sony Alphas. I have a Sony Alpha A6400 here and a Sony Alpha A6400 here. It's actually mounted to the ceiling using a bar clamp. So there's a bar that's flush against the ceiling. It's screwed into the ceiling. It comes down. The camera's mounted on there. It's designed to be a wall mount, I think, so you can have the camera coming out of a wall, but I use it from the ceiling and drop it down. And it works great. Deep Navy versus Masterpiece versus Striker, which do you prefer? Personally, I'd go on Deep Navy of all of them. That would be my big choice of those three. I think Striker I would pick second. Yeah, Striker I'd probably go second. Yeah, that's probably how I'd pick it. Lube and Force always gets it in the hole. Yeah, sure, okay. Going full caps on this particular build, guys. And we only have one option for the bottom row here, so that's what we're going to go with. I do like it when the plates are fixed, because then I can't get the switches in the wrong position for the customer. It's not too much of a worry when it's my own personal build, but at least from this customer's perspective, everything's going to be nice. What's £90? These were £90. These Morgry switch pullers. These were £90. They are milled aluminium with aluminium tips that are interchangeable, and they were £90, give or take. I think they were actually $90 plus shipping plus import fees to the UK. So about 90 quid, something like that. Expecting pictures on Monday of the redacted truck, or Tuesday. It's going to be later in the week. I can't actually go and see it until it's cleared customs. That's going to be Wednesday, Thursday time. So it's going to be Wednesday, Thursday. Duckcom says, cars are funny. I have a new Audi RS car, but I love my old 94. I don't like new cars very much, I'll be honest. Like, sure, they're fast and they're comfortable and they're good for getting the dog around and going from A to B and stuff like that. But I really, really like old cars. I don't think there's been a good quality car that is, I don't know, like I haven't driven a car that's less than 15 years old that I've thoroughly enjoyed. Like, the driving experience is just so compromised these days with, you know, traction control and ABS and all of those kind of things. It doesn't matter if you're driving a top end Porsche or anything else. They all feel very similar. I don't know, like, I just prefer old cars. They feel more raw, more real. You get a lot more feedback from them. They're a lot more work to drive, and I enjoy that. Plus, they're easier to work on as well. Like, modern cars, you need diagnostic computers and all sorts of stuff to look at them and to fix them, and I don't have time for that. Okay, so we've got at least one bent pin. Rip J. Okay, just checking all the switches now. See if we've got any more bent pins. It looks like we've got 2 bent pins. Okay, so we've got 2 switches with bent pins so far. 3 switches bent pins. This is going to be good. 4 switches. This plate is just so tight. It's really hard to tell when you're pushing them in if you're going to bend the pins or not. Okay, so normally this would be an easy fix. Something tells me this is going to be a difficult job. Just feel like I'm going to end up chewing the switches to bits. Okay, we've got to make it right. One done. Two done. There we go, 3 out. Oops. This is going to be the hard one to get out because it's right up against the stabilizers. Can't get a grip on this switch. Okay, let's try a screwdriver and prise this out. Fetch the hydraulic press. Here we go. Yeah, I could put it on the drill press and pop it out that way. I really don't want to do that though. Like, really don't want to do that. Just feels like wherever this plate was cut, that someone adjusted for kerf and the switch just slightly too tight. Just ever so slightly too tight. There we go. It's out. It's out. It's done. We're all good. right now to fix this. Excellent. I'm going to pick the straightest pin switches here, guys. There we go. Put it in nicely. Yeah. Yep, and last one. There we go. Excellent. Okay, right, let's catch up. A car brand owned by Toyota. Oof, yeah. Jay likes it raw. I love it. Yeah, that's true. I did. You can clip that. I'm surprised no one did. My brother's S8 spent more time in the dealer shop than in his possession. Yeah, most cars, the QC that they go through these days is one of those kind of things that's a bit different to how it used to be. So instead of going through QC, they just build everything to a certain specification, ship it out, and then if the customer's got problems, they deal with the returns because it's cheaper to do that than it is to quality control check everything. We'll get onto the FE copper after this build. No, there's loads of switches. That's why we didn't. I think his desk is larger than my office. No, the desk is about 1 meter wide that you can see here, but the desk is actually 2 meters from end to end. It's just a Weehar standard screwdriver holder. Okay, so now that's done, we can move on to soldering. And as I said before the stream, guys, well, before we started building, this does mean that you can now ask me any question you would like. So guys, you can tag me with @TopClack, and whenever we're soldering, you can ask me a question about anything you would like at all. It can be keyboard related, it can be car related, it can be space related, it can be physics related, it can be chemistry related, it can be movie, TV, films, you name it. You can ask me any question at all as long as it's Twitch safe for me to answer. And I will do my best to answer it for you. I will answer it as best I can, and I will try and do my utmost to give you a comprehensive answer to whatever questions you asked. So all you need to do is tag me with @TopClack and ask me any question you like. Okay, so I just need to be careful with this one here. So what we're going to do is hold it in place, let the solder cool. There we go. And that's just because the PCB is lifting slightly on this edge. So we're just going to solder these corners in first, and then we'll go from there. There we go. Just going to come over this side and do the corners on this side, 2 switches in the middle, and then I'll see what questions you guys have asked. But as I say, I will answer anything at all that you can ask. You name it, I'll answer it, as long as I can do so Twitch safe, and it's not going to, you know, get me into trouble. Okay, there we go. We're good. Right, let's see what we've got. Champagne Stevie says, "Are you a fan of Luther?" I'm going to assume you mean the TV show. Yes, I am. Idris Elba is a great actor. I think he's fantastic. I can't wait for it to come back. I think it's been a couple of years since the last series now. So, yes, I'd like to see more of that, please. Whoever the TV company that makes it is should make some more of it. Next question comes from Zui, and he says, "I have 50,000 channel points. Can we have more options for me to use them?" Yes, we're working on it. It's happening in the background. Sub badges, emotes, everything else that is coming. It's all in progress. Brian and Not Geo have their hands wrapped all around that. Marthak says, "Do you think there is life on Europa, one of the moons of Jupiter?" I think if there is life outside of planet Earth in our solar system, that is one of the most likely places for it to be right now. It has, you know, it's encapsulated in ice, but it has liquid oceans underneath. It vents out into space quite often. We should be able to find comets and clumps of, well, not comets, sorry, but clumps of rock and things that have come from it that may hint at it. And we could absolutely send probes there that could get down to the water underneath the ice and analyze it, or even in the areas where it actually gives off the spouts into space. Because actually, parts of the moon where it actually spouts stuff into space, like it's literally ejecting things through its very, very thin atmosphere. So yeah, there's a couple of other places as well in the solar system I think are potentially likely. Enceladus, or Enceladus, however you want to pronounce it, is also an option. I think that if we are looking for non-carbon based life forms, then we might have a good chance on Venus, but we don't know what non-carbon based life forms would actually look like. So I don't even know if we'd recognize that kind of life, to be honest. It's a really good question. I think it's the best chance we've got. I would put odds on 50-50 that there is some kind of microbial life on Europa. I'd say 50-50. What was your first actual custom board? So my first board that I would class as a custom was a Poker 3, and I went from that to a Cooler Master. I know, probably a downgrade in the long scheme of things. The first keyboard that I bought in Group Buy, I used to think it was something else for a long time, but I think it was actually the original UK 78 run. I don't have that board any longer, but I think that might have been the first one I bought in Group Buy. But I got that long after I got some other boards off of Mech Market and places like that, and the second-hand market. I did have some GH60s and other bits and pieces. I had a KBD 75, all in that kind of time frame as well, and a few other boards too. Where do I start buying my first Mech keyboard with a higher quality like aluminium casing? First, you need to decide on a budget. So this is for Trust Me SC2. You need to find a budget. You need to decide how much you're willing to spend. And then my best advice to you there would be to join one of the many Discords. There are community Discords for most areas. So if you're in the UK, for example, there's Mechanical Keyboards UK. If you're in the US, there's pretty much one for every state. There's one for Germany, there's one for France. There's all sorts of other custom mechanical keyboard Discords and communities that you could join. There are also some that span kind of across the whole community. So for example, the Top Clack Discord server, you can join that just below here. We can help you there. It's very much a question that needs a lot more than just a quick this is what you could buy. Like it will depend a lot on your preferences, what you like, what you don't like, what keyboards you've had experience of, how much your budget is. It's a very, very open-ended question. So if you reach out to us in one of the Discords, I'm sure people will be more than happy to help. If you want a quick place to start, take a look on Mech Market on Reddit /r/Mech Market and have a look from there. Current favorite custom, the Tinned is currently my favorite. I'm using that quite a lot, as well as the F1 from Geonworks. Getting GMK British Racing Green, most likely yes. If you were to have a piece machined in both a copper version and a stainless steel version, would be a significant difference in cost. Same exact piece but different material. Yes, so there would be. Mainly because stainless steel is really expensive to machine. It's a really tough metal, so you would have more cost in terms of tooling and other things. The actual machining itself would be the same. You would follow the same process and procedures. You would use different tools, and it would take longer for stainless steel. So yes, it would cost more. It's just one of those things. The harder the material is to cut, the more it's going to cost. Also, the cost of finishing stainless steel is a little bit more than others as well. I'm not answering that one. Japani Trat says Battlestar Galactica or The Expanse. BSG, so say we all. I'm not saying Expanse is bad, but Battlestar Galactica is one of the best TV shows ever made. It's up there for me with Sopranos and Buffy the Vampire Slayer and a few others. It's just one of those things that's a classic for all time. Who is the coolest person you know and why is it your partner? My wife is amazing, Jeffrick. She puts up with me doing stuff like this on a Sunday night. I leave the house, come up to my workshop, which is about 10 minutes drive away, and solder a keyboard together for you lot. She is an absolute trooper, a legend to behold, and I do not deserve her. Like, categorically don't deserve her. Don't bother asking chat. He's building this for me. Yep, I was given assurances, ironclad assurances. Okay, fair enough. Yeeto5 says, I'm kind of a beginner to custom keys and I'm looking for a decent first build. What do you recommend for case or PCB, hot swap or solder? I think everyone should learn how to solder. It's not a difficult skill to learn, and I would definitely do that. Hot swap is great if you want to be able to change and try many different things, but I think learning how to solder is a really good skill, so I would definitely recommend that. For recommendations on custom keys and things like that, it's all going to depend on your budget. Again, same as the guy before, go check out one of the Discord servers. There's tons of them, and we'll be able to do that. Japanese Strat says, IT Crowd or Sherlock. If you mean the Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock, then Sherlock. If you mean the Robert Downey Jones Sherlock, then the IT Crowd. Porcupine says, which anime should I watch next? I really don't know much about anime, so I'm going to say the only thing that I've watched which could even remotely come close to it, which is Attack on Titan. What are the comfiest pants? None? 50-50 without any evidence at all. Nice. Okay, so I'm not going to have evidence. I'm a random guy sat here in my workshop talking about life potentially on a moon somewhere else in the solar system, okay? I don't have all the answers, but I think if there's any life anywhere else in our solar system other than on the Earth, Europa is where it's going to be. It has a high chance of it. It has a molten core. It has liquid oceans underneath a thick layer of ice. We've found microbes in similar conditions on Earth underneath the Arctic ice caps, 3 miles deep underneath the Arctic ice caps. There's a whole series of lakes under there that we've dug down to and taken samples from, and we found microbial life there that's been trapped for 16,000 years, maybe even longer, up to 40,000 years. You can Google this, you can check it all out. It's absolutely true. If there is life anywhere in the galaxy, if there is life anywhere near us in another part of the universe, in our own solar system, that's where it's going to be. And I reckon that there is a 50-50 chance of that being true. Life cannot have only just developed once in the universe. I'm really not a fan of that particular belief. I think that life is a lot more likely to happen than what we realize. We've got a sample size of 1. We need a sample size much bigger than that to be able to prove it. Okay? So I think if there is life anywhere in our solar system, that's most likely where it's going to be. 50-50 chance. I think that's a fair assumption. So Soupy's tasty. If you feel free to disagree, but that's my semi-educated guess. Okay. Japan Chat says top 3 podcasts, videos, articles, books that impacted you most this year. So CGP Grey does one called Cortex, a podcast called Cortex that thoroughly impacted me over the past 12 months. He gives a lot of things to think about in that. With the guy, I've forgotten the name of the guy that he does it with, but there's a lot of things to think about in there. Ways to structure life and productivity are key to me right now. Running a business, having a full-time day job, having a personal life, trying to fit hobbies into there. I need organization like you would not believe, and that's been really key to me. In terms of books, I actually have been reading a few series of books. I've gone back and read quite a lot of things over the past year. The biggest one that stood out to me was something that I read last time I was in high school, and that was a book called Jane Eyre. Not a book called Jane Eyre, it was a book called Wuthering Heights. And if you haven't read it, you should. It just kind of brought back to me the importance of what romance is and should be. It also brought back to me how enjoyable reading could be. So I've actually picked up a few other books since then that I've been reading. So George Orwell's 1984 is halfway through on the audiobook in my car. I've also been reading in the actual paperback version the Go With the Dragon Tattoo series. They're not amazing, but they're very well written and they're very engaging. So yeah, I'd go for those. And then the third one is I read an article right at the very beginning of this year, about 5-6 weeks ago, which was actually a few years old. And that was actually on the speed of light and how the speed of light may have changed over the course of the time of the universe. Like we call the speed of light c in vacuum right now, we call that c, and we say that it travels at 300,000 meters a second. But there is a belief and a potential scientific theory that in the early days of the universe, light could have actually traveled at a faster speed than this, and that changes to the structure of the universe, the creation of certain particles as stars were created, and a number of other things could have influenced the speed of light and slowed it down, a little bit like how the speed of light changes in air or in water, and it slows down a little bit, or through glass and a few of the things. I mean, we can create substances that actually slow the speed of light right down, so it hits it on the outside. It takes ages to pass through it comparatively before it comes out the other side. We can absolutely do that today with this technology that we have. So to suggest that there's some element of the universe that's limiting the speed of light that wasn't there before, it's really plausible, and it kind of gives a whole new spin on what might have been possible at the time of the expansion of the universe and a few other bits and pieces as well. It helps fix a lot of the cosmological problems that we experience today. Okay. Trust me, I like to answer people's questions. I like to answer people's questions. Stupid Ken Degree says, did you try and get in on the Numi? I didn't, no. So say we all. Yep. Delay seems huge on the stream. I'm really sorry if there's a delay. Really sorry. What kind of new stuff are you looking forward to in the Keep community? New mounting styles, and there's a few of them coming, so yeah. Robert Downey Jr. is what I said. Robert Downey. Did I say Robert Downey Jones? I meant Robert Downey Jr. No pants is the only answer. Absolutely. Do the rest of the world don't think there's life on Europa? I think it's a really interesting one. I think it's really interesting because a lot of people suggest that life is endemic to Earth only and not anywhere else, and people just can't get their head around it. And I think no one really knows. Like, it's all best guess and everything else. Until we have proof that life exists outside of the world, as I said before, we've got an example size and a party size and a study size of 1. But just given how diverse life is on this planet, it would be really strange for it to not be a thing elsewhere. Like, it'd just be a really strange thing. Like, we already know that multiple times life has evolved at least twice on planet Earth, because there's 2 different types of DNA and RNA strands. So we're based on the number of base pairs inside of DNA and RNA. There are 2 different types. As far as I'm aware, there's a lake somewhere, and it's a really salty lake, and when they've analysed life from there, I think it's really chlorinated, or it's full of some sort of bleach type substance. I think it's chlorinated, and the life there has a different number of base pairs to what we have in our DNA, and they believe that that's because the life evolved separately. They don't have proof or conclusivity on this yet, but it's a working theory. So if that's true, then it could happen anywhere. Japanese says Gaius Baltar or Sol Tai. Okay, so I think that Gaius Baltar is probably going to be said by more people, but I think that Sol Tai has a better character arc across the whole series. The way he changes from being a drunk commander to dealing with Ellen, to commanding rebel forces, to learning his ultimate fate, he has a bigger character arc than Gaius Baltar does. And I'm separating Gaius Baltar from the inner Gaius Baltar that number 6 sometimes sees. I think they're 2 different characters in my head. Okay, almost there on the soldering. I'll answer a few more questions before we carry on with this particular build, and then we'll move on to the second build, which I'm really excited for. Marthek says, sorry, not a question. It's a super cool video on life in space on YouTube. Life Beyond 2, the Museum of Alien Life 4K. Talks about carbon-based life form and non-carbon-based life form. Yeah, I think silicone's probably the most likely other option for life. Talks about there being 1 in 100,000 chance without evidence. All nice. Sure. Evidence I have is the lack of any findings so far in every single space mission. Yeah. Bear in mind that we are at the very early days of space exploration, like really early. To have not found anything now is not conclusive proof, and it never will be. The more we look and the more we don't find something, sure, the feeling weights in that favour. But we're still discovering new creatures on Earth that we haven't discovered before every year. Like, there are thousands of new creatures discovered on Earth that are part of our environments right now that we've never discovered before. New germs, new diseases, new bugs, new animals, even new types of sea creature, fish and whales. It's not too long ago that the coelacanth was found, and that was thought to be extinct for 400 million years. And then we found it alive, and it swims and it lives. So saying we haven't found something that is proof that it doesn't exist, that's a really, really bad argument. I'm really sorry. That's like looking in your house and saying, I don't have a iron 165 in my house, therefore it doesn't exist. It's not proof of something. A lack of evidence isn't proof. Okay. Okay. We're going down. There's been less space missions than there were exploratory missions to the United States when we found the United States, or what is the Americas now. So I think we can call that okay. We can stop arguing about it. Jackie says, if we were able to travel to a different planet to live, it would take forever, that we would be dead on arrival. If we travel at light speed, our atoms would be split because of speed. So no, our atoms wouldn't be split because we'd be traveling at light speed. We'd just become infinitely dense. Yeah, we would. It's true. So the faster something moves, the heavier it weighs. And you'd become that heavy that you'd need that much power to move you that you couldn't actually move at the speed of light. We'd need something like an Alcubierre drive, which would actually warp space-time in front and behind you to actually move forward in space at a faster speed than light. There are different ways of doing it. There are different theories around how it might be doable, but it wouldn't actually be moving at light speed. It would be some folding of space-time that we would use. What was the other part of that? If we ever travel to a different planet to live, it would take forever, we'd be dead. Maybe. It depends on what our warp or jump or whatever else you want to call it technology would look like and how fast that would travel us. If we were to use intergenerational starships, it's more likely that we would throw those out into space, and then technology would catch up and we would actually surpass those and be ready for them to arrive when they got there. That's more likely to happen if we ever get to that point. Picon Omi says, do you think that the HHKB makes coding easy with the layout? Can you vouch for this? I don't think so personally. I'm not a coder. I can code a little bit, but very, very little. I think other things such as having a vertical monitor are more beneficial to me to code on or to write things on. I wouldn't say that the layout of your keyboard makes coding easier unless it suits the way that you type and you know it inside out. I think actually knowing your keyboard layout is a better way of learning how to type. Do I have an OMRUN stash? No. I think I've got 2 OMRUN boards. Smug Keyboard says, what's up, Jay? Hey, man. Good for being here. Glad you're here. As someone that studied physics for the last 8 years can confirm we know very little. Absolutely, we do know very little, but that's the whole fun of speculation. Someone asked for my opinion on it. My opinion is my opinion. If simple amino acids can be created in a flask in a lab, it seems highly likely that there's life out there. It's very true. They haven't looked for everything or looked everywhere or taken samples everywhere as yet, so it's not true. Biggest fail of you this year today. The biggest fail of me this year today was I didn't order something for a project I should have done, and now it's delayed for 4 weeks until Chinese New Year's over, and I had to apologize to the person that was doing that because I typed up a message to order something and I did it on my iPad, and then I didn't hit send, and then it didn't go, and now we're delayed for over a month because I made a mistake. So that's my biggest fail this year, and I learned from that to double check and to have checks and controls in place. The Voyager missions are not looking for life signs in the way that you think they are. They're not taking samples of soils or anything like that. They're not landing on planets. So Voyager missions are a little bit different. The Mars exploration hasn't found anything on Mars, but we're not talking about Mars. I can go on. This is really easy to fight against, Super Stacey. I'm really sorry. You're on the wrong side of this argument. King Friday the 7th says, we've barely gone anywhere. We've covered less than 0.00001% of everything. Hey, we haven't even explored the whole of this planet yet, right? So there we go. Jackyist says, do you think we'll ever travel to a different planet to live? It would take... Oh, we've already talked about that one. Probably to the inner planets. Yeah, okay. Sending something in space is not actually actively equal looking for life. Correct. What's your take on crypto? Good question. My take on crypto is that there is a future for it, and it's really interesting, and it actually puts the banks under a lot of pressure because it's an open ledger system. It does put a lot of pressure on the banks and the financial institutions. I think that they will find a better way to monetize it than anyone else has in the next 5 to 10 years, as mining starts to become more of an issue, and the coins are found more depending on the crypto you're talking about. And my big fear for it is that it will turn into one of the whole stocks and shares kind of issue. Look at GME and the short selling and things. My biggest worry is that it will turn into that. What I do think there is more options for is the kind of open ledger system. I think that has many implications that we aren't utilizing it for today. I think that could be used outside of cryptocurrency and more widely adopted across traditional banking practices and in other areas as well. There is a lot of really interesting technology in there that I think has many more implications and affectations than what is being used for in cryptography today. Okay, would making artificial gravity due to mass ever be possible? Potentially just spin in space. You can kind of do it that way. You can generate artificial gravity that way. Okay. HKKB makes using the Linux terminal more convenient if you use it heavily, but that's it. Fair. Okay. Okay, I think we've caught up. So we've done the soldering and we've caught up on the questions. The last two while I put my solder away for this build is, which country would you like to live in except the UK? I've always fancied living in Canada. I like the idea of living in the Rockies, up in the mountains somewhere. That is a big draw to me, and I would like to live there. Did I see Langlandia stream today? I didn't see it live, but I've seen the clips straight afterwards. I've already talked to him about it. I think the board looks great now, actually. The inside of it, at least. Come live here, but not on the West Coast. We'll see, Gio. We'll see. No promises yet. Okay. Time to finish this build. My coffee's gone really cold now, guys. You guys have had me talking. I've got a really sore throat now. Did you all find it entertaining? Did you all enjoy me just yabbering away and answering your questions? Do you enjoy that part of this stream? Is that something you guys enjoy? Let me know how you feel about it, guys. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to install the daughterboard cable. Really enjoy it, can't stop listening. I'm the kind of guy that has a really shitty opinion on everything. Like, I have no really good opinions, but I'll argue them anyway. So yeah, I have a really diverse interest group as well, so I like to talk about a lot of different things. You guys asked some really good questions today, apart from that one guy who was just clearly wrong. Okay. I'm assuming Geo blocked him because I haven't seen any posts from him. Okay, so that's the daughterboard cable installed. We're just going to make sure it lays in the trough that I showed you earlier on nicely. Okay, that's all laid in correctly. Now we're going to pop the top case on. Then we're going to flip the board over, put the screws back in place. And then once we've done that, there we go. We'll put some keycaps on it. I'm not trying to single you out, Super Stacey. I'm really not. Like, I'm always happy to have these arguments and debates, but I'm not. I don't like the kind of arguments that suggest that. I don't like the type of arguments that you present. Like, a lack of evidence isn't a lack of proof, or isn't proof. Well, sorry, a lack of evidence is lack of proof, but a lack of evidence is not proof of, indirect proof of sort of the opposite point. It's a really, really difficult line to take on arguments, I think, and it doesn't serve you well. It's just kind of a falsehood in argumentation. My conspiracy theories, yes. I wouldn't call them that. I don't think I am a conspiracy theorist. I don't really believe in any of the big conspiracy theories. I've forgotten how hard the iron was to screw together. So we're just going until we're finger tight, and then once we're just finger tight, we're just going a quarter turn more just to make sure that the gaskets are aligned correctly. We're doing it in all four corners. There we go. And then we'll do the other screws as well. Do we need keyboard specific torque drivers? So the interesting thing with the Iron 165 is I think the screws in my view are slightly too short for the actual design of the board, because the gaskets require a lot of compression. I'm not generally of the belief that you should actually have to put a lot of torque into screws to get them to go into a keyboard, but the Iron 165 is one that bucks that trend just because of the way the gaskets work, and it's not putting them under compression like a normal board does. It puts them under way more and with shorter screws. So I just think the screws are a little bit too short. That's my only criticism of this board. You don't know till you know. The tree falling in the woods, yeah. So the Tunguska event of 1908, James, when that happened, did it make a noise? No one knew about it when it happened. We found the remnants of it years and years later. Did it make a noise? And can we prove it either way? Okay, interestingly, this does not want to stick. Wow. Okay, we may have to build this board without bump-ons, because these bump-ons don't want to stick in the board. I have some other ones, if the owner of the board is still here. I have some other ones I can supply, but it feels like these just don't want to quite stick. Yeah, they're not going to stick in, so I'm not going to use those. I'll put them to one side and I will supply you some of my own personal ones. Time for some keycaps. Take a look at how this board looks with some keycaps on it, and then we'll get on to the second one. Does the Pope fall in the woods? I don't know. Let's send him to the woods and find out. Do you guys in the UK have a big debate culture? No, we don't. We absolutely don't. We do not have debate clubs in school. GMK trays, everyone. Okay. That's a good looking tin in the top there. Thank you very much. That's the tin I built on stream last week. We had a chess club as well. We did not have debate club though. Like, I think that's a very American thing, is debate club. Same things like world conferences and stuff like that. It's very Americanized. We definitely don't have that in the schools I attended in the UK. We had a mock UN in college, but it wasn't serious in any way, shape, or form. We didn't even have a computer club. Yeah. Bad times, man. Gotta love the new GMK trays. Yeah. They're not the greatest. Okay. Mooseroid says, I wish the red on round 2 was this burgundy colour. Well, this is the plum, if I remember right. They called it the plum colour in round 1. We had IT classes until someone nicked all the laptops. Sounds rough, man. That sounds really rough. We didn't have things like that happen very often. We did get one kid that was impaled on the school fence had like spikes on top of it. It was like 6 foot high fence with spikes on top. We did have one kid that got impaled on that. The other kids lifted him up and impaled him on it. That was a thing that happened. Is that right? No, that's wrong. Why have I put that there? There we go. Okay. wish your channel had video resolutions options. It'd make things on mobile much easier. Apologies, it doesn't. We are not a partner channel. We are just I can't remember what the tier is, but we're not partner. We're the other one below that. ASDFGHJ. There we go. I had to think about that for a second. Pretty sure this set doesn't have UK ISO, so it's going to have just generic ISO support. So we're just going to go with that for now. Okay. Okay, there we go. I think the rest of the arrow keys should be in here, so let's try and dig these out while we can. There we go. And I think the rest of the keys should be on this layer. Let's go for the accent ISO enter just because we can. The owner of the board can of course always change this later on if they want. I think just giving it a spot of white might look nice. Debate clubs are big at Cambridge and Oxford unis. Yeah, I didn't go to those. I'm not intelligent enough to go to those. Nowhere near. Don't know anything about UK politics, so I just love hearing people yell order in the House of Commons. Always put a smile on my face. Yeah, the Speaker of the House is usually quite good at that, or the older one was. I'm not sure who the new guy is actually. I've not really watched much lately, I'll be honest. Not that I was a huge watcher of the House of Commons, but okay, almost there now, guys, with the keycaps. I'm just going to go with generic keycaps on the right hand column and then let the owner decide how they want to do it going forwards. Okay. There we go. Pop these back in. And these GMK trays are so frustrating sometimes. Let's see if we can at least get it to sit flat. There we go. Okay. And that, guys, is build number 1 done. And we'll do sound tests and we'll do actual system tests, make sure they're working and everything else right at the very end of the stream, because we've got 2 boards to build today. This is the first one. This is a Plum Iron 165 wearing a GMK Bingsu in ISO layout. How nice does that look? How nice does that look? And then here's the black base with brass weight. That's a really, really, really nice board. Okay, we'll put that to one side, and now we've got the second build to do. Right, coffee's cold. I didn't drink it, but time for having a drink. My art teacher got stabbed because a student... Wait a minute, a student thought he was gay. Turned out he was having an affair with Miss Dazzler, a geography teacher. What? What? Wow. Is there a board that Bingsu doesn't look good on? No. Bleach arrived a couple of days ago. It's really white. Yeah, it's really white. It's so white it's almost blue. It's kind of crazy. Roll MCs says, have you tried the Niz Plum Atom? I haven't. No. Love those colours, gorgeous. It's really beautiful. Is that? That's a really beautiful board. Burko, best speaker. Yes, Burko. That was his name. Yes. Yeah, Geo confirms around the transcoding options. Okay, just scrolling through. Just seen GMK Birch, love it so much, but wish it had full UK ISO support. Yeah, I agree on that, but it's a good looking set either way. Bingsu's so nice on Plum. It looks really good. Yeah, it's really, really good. Bingsu does not look good on a blue keyboard IMO, but pretty much everything else it looks good on. I've not tried it on a blue keyboard, but I do have blue keyboards I could try it on. So we could try that sometime. Okay, time for the second build of today. And this one necessitates gloves, so I'm going to take my watch off because I don't like wearing a watch with gloves. But this one necessitates gloves. These are the gloves I use when I'm doing quality control work in the warehouse. Hey man, thanks so much for everything you've done. Living in the UK and not having to pay horrendous shipping prices is a godsend. Anything I can do, man. Yeah, I will do as much as I can for the UK keyboard community. Stock as many things as we can. Proxy as many things as we can. You name it, we will do it. For the good of the community. If not for the good of my health, because I work a lot of hours. Okay, gloves on. And that's because today we are going to be building the copper version of this board. And this board has something a little bit special about it. So, first of all, switches. These switches are silent alpacas. I've never used these before, so I'm interested to see how these boards sound, given the fact that they're going to have silent switches. Might make the sound test a bit boring at the end, but we'll see. Music stopped. Let's check why.
Ooh, very nice.
Disco Crocodile, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. 11 months, my good dude. Thank you very, very much for that. There we go, music's back. Okay, the key set we're going to use for this one, when we get around to it, is going to be GMK White on Black. And yes, this box has seen better days. Again, GMK trays. We do not need these stabilizers. These are the cherry stabilizers he told me not to use, so we're going to get rid of those. Yes, I did just... And these are the stabilizers we are going to use, which are some Zeal stabilizers. And then this, my good friends, this is the second board we're going to build today. Pokemon Kid is here, says, good evening, Jay. How's your weekend been? It's been good, man. Busy. I hope you're doing well as well, dude. Okay. So, this one we're going to build with the brass plate. So there is more than one plate in here. We're going to use the brass plate. We've got the same things here. We've got the gaskets and the PCB. So we need those. We also have a daughter board, which we will need. There is a spare PCB in here as well. There's also the screws for the daughter board, some bump-ons, and the cable there too. And there's some additional gaskets here as well, which we will need. Get them to one side. We're going to use this brass plate from Laser Boost, which we'll take a look at in a second. But then, guys, in here, we have the board itself. And this is something a little bit different, because this isn't the same as my copper base on my board. And the reason for that is because this one's had a little bit of post-processing work done to it. So I want you guys to be ready for this. I want you guys to be really, really ready for this. This is quite possibly the shiniest keyboard I've ever seen. That's how shiny this is, guys. Here is my nose and face and beard in the board. This is something else. Like, this is mirror finish. Like, I'm going to show you this to the camera, and you guys are going to see the camera. That's how this board is. Ugh, I can't even get it out. It's stuck. Let's see if we can lift it up a little bit. Man, this is kind of stuck in place. There we go. So here you go, guys. So you see it's a little bit dirty. It does need a little bit of a polish, but there you go. You can see the camera. If I angle it here, oh, you can see it's mounted to the ceiling there. There's a camera and then mounted to the ceiling. This is... Well, there's my pretty face. Oh yeah, someone wanted to see the keyboards on the wall behind me. There you go. There's proof. There's proof that other keyboards exist all down the wall. And on the desk there. There's proof. There's keyboards everywhere. I haven't touched this with my bare hands. This is just that I got it out. This is why I'm wearing gloves. There is some marks here. My gloves are made of rubber, so if there's any grease on it, that's what it's touching up here. It does need another polish and a bit of a clean, I think. But it's the shiniest shiny boy I've seen. Like, look. I mean, you guys can see me almost as better than the camera. It's me. There we go. So, this is the second one we're going to build today. Oh, that's so heavy. That is like double the weight of that one. Almost guaranteed. Let's flip this over. Okay. First thing we need to do is take this apart. I'm pretty sure I've got the driver that does that here. Okay. That's mesmerizing. I see fingerprints. The fingerprints are not mine. I have not touched this board with my bare hands. Anyone who's touched this was not me. It was whoever shipped it to me, whoever packaged it. There's the only fingerprints on this board. I have not touched it with my bare hands. How much was this during group buy? This one's a little bit different because the base is pure copper and the actual black part of the keyboard around here, on this one it's the plum colour here is aluminium. On this one it's actually stainless steel, which goes back to Langlandia's comments very early on this stream about how the limited edition version of the iron did include iron. I think I paid $900-ish for mine, but I haven't had mine polished post-process like this. Mine is just this kind of copper that you see in the middle here. That's what mine's like. It is not polished like this. Uniwolf says, I have to say Lang did it better. Lang did what better? I didn't polish this. This is how it came. I have not polished this. Unless you mean that Lang cooked on his, and I'm not going to cook on a customer's board. I do it on my own, but I wouldn't do it on a customer's board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So one of these did not come out. There we go. I see no stakes here. Yeah, I can't cook on a customer's board. That'd be very ungentlemanly of me. Okay, this won't come apart. Did I get all the screws out? Trying to see if I got all the screws out here. Pretty sure I did. Man, that's tight. Just a bit of brute force needed. Whoa. Okay. Gasket's already installed on this one, so that saves us one part of the job. Do you know what? I don't want to slide that around too much, so I'm just going to turn that over and leave that just there like so. Now we're going to put the side down to one side. Okay. Time for the second build then. This one we are going to use the brass plate. This is from Laser Boost. As Anarchy said in chat, he hopes the tolerances on this are a little bit better than on the old one. Okay. We don't need the gaskets because the gaskets are already installed, so we can put them to one side. We do need the daughterboard. We'll need to install that. And we'll need those as well. Okay. Okay. We just got a J face reveal in the weight reflection. Yeah, man. Yeah. Did you get some of the 10Us? I didn't as yet, no. Jay doesn't want to get fingerprints on the murder weapon. I absolutely do not know. What desk mat is this, and can I still buy one? I don't have any of these left in stock. This was just the finale desk mat, but I don't have any left in stock. I'm really, really sorry about that. Okay, do you know what? I'm really, really, really nervous about this, so I'm going to actually wrap it up and put it away until we need it back. Like, it's so shiny that I just don't want to. I don't want to risk damaging it in any way, shape, or form. There we go. I feel much better now. Now I can take the gloves off, we can do the build, and then I'll put the gloves back on for the last bit. I need to follow the meme trend. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I do own one that I could do stuff to. I'm not sure how I feel about actually doing it, but maybe. I wouldn't rule it out. Anything for the memes, right? Okay. Again, these stabilizers are already pre-lubed, so we're just going to use these ones. And we need just 3 stabilizers in total. Okay. Yeah, I'm really worried about King Friday. I'm very nervous around touching the board or maneuvering it. The only thing I wouldn't do with gloves on is solder, because the last thing you want to do is melt rubberized gloves onto your hands with a soldering iron if you slipped or anything like that. So that's the one thing I won't do with gloves on is solder. I'd much rather just burn my flesh and be able to clean it nicely than actually damage myself further by melting some plastic into me. Metclicks, thank you very much for the raid, my dude. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you you joining us. We're building the second of 2 Iron 165's today. I missed your previous question. Sorry if I did. I'll try and get back to them. Speaking of that other regular finish for the previous FE editions, what would you call a matte finish or slightly pebbled? It's just a sandblasted finish. Sandblasted. Oh, thanks guys for being here. Look at all those Metclicks logos. Thank you very much for being here, guys. I appreciate it. This is the first build we built today is this one here. It's a Plum Iron 165. We're now just in the process of building the second one, which is something very special indeed, because it's a limited edition version of the board and it has been polished. Now, I've taken my gloves off, but if you want to see what a highly polished board looks like, stick around and you'll see that shortly. Imagine Bingsu on a burgundy. So I'm trying to collect all of the colours of the F1 Atex from Geonworks. I have a black one so far. I recently bought another one, which I think was blue. I think I bought the navy one recently. I haven't got it yet, so I can't recall. The burgundy one is the one that eludes me the most. I would pay a good premium for a burgundy F1 Atex. So stop teasing me, she. Metclicks, it's going well, man. Thank you very much for being here. These for customers or personal use. These two are actually the same customers. He owns both of the boards that we're building today. Normally I do my own boards on build streams. This week and next week. Bless me. Customer builds. This week and next week are both customer builds. Going to do one on the 14th of February as well, at Valentine's Day stream. So do come check that out. Okay. What do you think a fair price for an unbuilt E-White Vega is? Whatever you paid for it is the fair price, I guess. Anything more than that and you're asking to profiteer from it, which is or is not moral depending on your stance, that's entirely up to you. I would not want to comment on a fair price for something other than to say that the price you paid is probably the best. We've talked him into juicing 100 lemons on top of the copper backplate, chat. No, I have not agreed to do that. That is not happening. Can always get it custom Cerakoted. Yeah, I might send some stuff your way, dude. I might send some stuff your way. You know I'm next on the list for Burgundy. I better be the first one. It did Porcupine. I bought this one. I got this one gifted for me from Geonworks directly. I sent him a JO2, which is one of my boards. He sent me this, so we did a trade. And then I've recently bought a second one on the aftermarket from Korea through my friend Socialite. And I'm trying to buy some more. So yeah, I want one in every color. Well, I want the black one, which I have. I want the burgundy one, which I don't have. I want the blue one, which I think I bought, and I want a silver one as well. So I want 4 of them in total. That's the plan. The red keyboard, that's an Iron 165 Plum with GMK Bingsu. We've just finished building that, and we're about to build an Iron 165 SE in black and copper, which we're just about to put the switches in for. Oh, you mean for purchasing? You're looking to buy one? I mean, your budget, whatever your budget is the right price. Don't overpay for something if you can't afford it. Don't buy something if you can't afford it. You know, always try and stick within your budgets. That would be my advice. Set a price that you are willing to pay, and then pay up to that price. Don't pay any more than that. And if you can't find it for that price, well, then there's nothing wrong with that. There is no requirement to have every board on the market. There will always be something new coming along. So just wait for the next one. I've had a lot of people, Kevin, saying that they want a JO2, so maybe we'll do another round of that. I can confirm you bought a Navy recently. Yeah, I wasn't sure it was Navy or the silver that I got. I couldn't remember. Thank you, Sheen. Thank you. I appreciate you checking that, man. Okay. Some of these switches are not closed properly when they were lubed, so I can't use them. The ones that are closed properly, we can use. Thank you very much, Brendan, for being here from MechClicks. Good to see you, man. These are silent alpacas, yes. The J0.4 is going to be real. It's not real as yet. It just exists in renders right now. James and I are working on it in the background. We're working on a lot of projects in the background. It will happen at some point soon. Do not fret, do not fear. The J0.4 will soon appear. Okay. Just working our way through these switches now, guys. Once these are in place, we'll enter round 2 of Ask Jay Anything, which means that you guys can ask me anything at all. So if you guys want to start getting your questions ready, because we're going to be done with the switches in a couple of minutes, all you need to do is tag me with @TopClack, and whenever we're soldering, I will answer any questions that you'd like to ask. You can ask me them about space, time, cars, movies, film, TV, relationships, keyboards, you name it, you can ask me. And as long as it's stream safe, I will do my best to answer. As soon as we've got this board put together, we will do exactly that. Whilst we're soldering, guys, I will answer any questions that you ask. Just a nice bit of fun. Can you shout out my girlfriend, Sangeeta, and convince her to get into keybs? Sangeeta, take a look at some of the good keyboards out there. Maybe consider picking one up. Maybe watch a few more streams. There's some other good streamers out there. Have fun. And most importantly, know that you've got yourself a good guy in El Jackdaw. You were AFK, what did you miss? You missed the shiny, polished bottom of my copper build. Okay, I can see questions are starting coming in for my soldering, so I'll answer those in a minute. Almost there putting these in. Don't worry, it will be back, Aneos. It will be back in a few minutes. Once we've soldered the board together, it will be back. Okay, Sandy Dazzle checking out the build. This is the second of two Iron 165's. The first one was built with Securio switches and GMK Bingsu in ISO layout. The second one we're building is this one here. This is also in ISO layout. This is using a brass plate instead of the aluminium one in that board. It's using silent alpaca switches, and it's on a black limited edition version of the board with a copper base. So there you go. Those are the two builds. Anyone else, if you've got any questions to ask me, get them into chat now, and as soon as I start soldering in about 2 minutes time, I will start to answer all of your questions that you ask. You can ask me anything at all, and I will try and give you an answer on it. About manufacturing, you can ask me about, I don't know, cars, women, wine, I don't know. Okay, lots of good questions coming in, so we'll answer those in a few minutes. We're almost there with getting the switches in place, so give me another minute or so, guys, and then we'll answer your questions as we're soldering. Almost there, guys. Just a few more switches to go. Okay, we're just going to check for bent pins, get your questions ready, guys, and then as soon as I start soldering, we're going to answer your questions. We're going to answer any question you have, whether it be about any topic, keyboard related or otherwise. Let's keep chatting entertained with some really good questions today, guys. We've got one bent pin that we just need to fix before we solder. 2 bent pins. Good job I checked these. Okay, 2 bent pins. Let's fix the 2 bent pins first. Try and get some straight pins on the bottom of these. There we go. And one more. There we go. Okay, guys, we are now ready to start soldering. So I can see that a few questions are coming. The first one comes from James Miller 1. He says, do you enjoy listening to music? If so, is there any particular genre or artist that you like or enjoy the most? I'm really into a lot of old kind of punk and grunge music from the early 90s. That kind of era was when I was starting to get into music. I'm a little bit older than most in the keyboard hobby. And that was really my era, so mid-90s onwards, right the way up through to like the early 2000s, I guess. That kind of 10-year period is where I spent most of it. So that's the kind of genre of music I tend to prefer. Clack says, do you have any of the Bobber T-Series desk pads? If so, can you show them off? I think I've only got one left in stock. I think that's all I have. I only have one left in stock, I think. I think it's the Marina one, but it's in the warehouse. So if you want to see that, you'll have to remind me right at the very end of the stream, because it will take me 5 minutes to find it, most likely. It might be easier to DM me on Discord if you want to see a picture of something. Bear in mind, there's a 2,200 square foot warehouse right behind where I'm streaming from right now. And that's where everything is stored. Okay. Tar Stylo says, any more extras in stock Desmax coming to prototypers soon? Yes. Towards the back end of this week coming, I'll be listing, I think, 4 or 5 different types of desk mat. They'll all be in stock, ready to ship immediately. So watch out for those. Towards the back end of this week coming, so maybe next Friday or Saturday. Okay, acrylic versus alu plates for tactile switches. I'm not a fan of acrylic plates at all. If I'm using plastic plates, I prefer POM and other things in that kind of vein. I'm not really a big fan of acrylic plates. Alpacas versus banana splits. I haven't tried banana splits, so I'm going to pick alpacas. If you have the chance, which colours would you like for your OGR? So for my personal OGR, I would like a dark grey insert with a dark grey base and a beige top. That's the colours I would like. James is already well aware of how I would like it to look. It's already well known, well established. I remember last month you were selling Gator Online switches. Were they popular? Just interested in low-key switches like this? Yeah, I sold quite a few thousand of them, like maybe 10,000 or something. I don't know. I can't remember the numbers, but yeah, we sold a few of them. Okay. Thanks, Jay. She's still lost with the keys, but you're really kind. Oh, well, the more she gets into it, the more she'll enjoy it. Adam says, preferred wine or other alcoholic beverage to have with a Sunday roast chicken dinner. White wine, usually. Probably a Sancerre or something like that, if I'm having chicken for dinner. If it's red meat, red wine, white meat, white wine. After the meal, before the meal, beer. On the evening, usually a whiskey. Single malt. Not that I'm a big drinker, because I'm really not. But I do like a drink every now and again. Yeah. On an evening, a single malt actually is sometimes the highlight of the day. After a long day in the warehouse, sometimes a whiskey can be what makes the day end in a nice way. Okay. Let's take a look for the next question. Not a question, but your voice is kind of relaxing. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And Anaya says, can you adopt me on Prototypist? No, sorry. Have I tried Kluber lubricant? No, I haven't tried that at all, actually. If you have a link to it, Futurebound, I'm more than happy to try some out and let you know what my thoughts are on it. There's a lot of lubricants out there that we don't use in keyboards that we could. So I'm always interested to try new stuff out. Any experience with thick thought marshmallows? Yes, I actually built my Mode 8T Dark Edition with marshmallow switches, and you know what, the switches were really nice. I wasn't particularly enthralled with the board. My wife actually uses it now for her day job, but the switches themselves were really good. I was a big fan of the marshmallow switches. I thought they were cute looking, I thought they sounded nice, I thought they felt nice. For JWK switches, I was pleasantly impressed. They're nicer than H1s. I still think if you're going to go for the standard JWK switches, alpacas probably rule the roost for me. And then if you want to go with the kind of more obscure JWK switches, such as the full nylon PC housing ones, the lavenders beat the rest of the JWK switch by a country mile. If you're not going to use JWK though, there's nothing wrong with good old cherry switches. Get some nice Vint blacks. They're always really nice too. Well, they can be really nice. The nicest ones I actually tried were in the most busted up keyboard I've ever tried, which was Amir's Prophet. Sadly, he lost it and then found it, and it was for sale somewhere randomly because it got lost, and that board had been destroyed in transit. But man, were those switches nice. Some of the nicest Vints I've ever tried. Is that a Bew Fiel up there? No, that's a Tinned. That's the latest version. It used to be called the Fiel Pro, but it's now called the Tinned. That's that board there. What was the name of those screw shells, and where can I buy them? You mean the trays? These trays? These trays are just trays that we're going to be stocking on Prototypist soon. They're made of aluminium. They're anodized. No ideas on price just yet, but they'll come in a few different colors. Likely not the blue, but the red, the purple will remain. Maybe Lodestone orange as well, and a few other colors too. but they're going to be an in-stock product on prototypist.net. What type of whiskey do you prefer? Highland, Speyside, something else? So it really depends. Like if I had to pick just one to live off of, it would be Glenlivet. I really, really like that. I have a few different bottles of Glenlivet, but I also like Bruichladdich. Man, they do some good whiskies. They do some really, really, really good whiskies. What else do I like? I mean, I've got a really eclectic taste. I like quite soft whiskies, but then again, I like really peaty, smoky whiskies as well. So, yeah, I have probably about 10 or 12 bottles that are halfway through at home. I don't drink a lot. Like a bottle will last me a year, but yeah, I do like to drink them. On a note of whiskey, I'm going to get some Port Roux. Yeah, nice. Pokemon Kid is a big fan of whiskies as well. We like to take little hip flasks and try different ones out at meetups. Men Lavender sound really good, but the V2 alpacas are damn near perfect for me. Sure, yeah, makes sense. Have you ever considered having an in-stock keyboard for beginners? Yeah, maybe. So the NK65 I've got on sale for the Super User edition at the minute. I'm really, really tempted to see if I can help get a PCB for that that's compatible with both ANSI and ISO, and just have like maybe 100 of them in stock with novel keys. I'm gonna have. I'm talking to Mike about this actively, and hopefully it will happen. We'll see. But like to just have those keyboard kits in would be really nice. Like an all-in-one NK65 entry edition that supports ISO and ANSI. That's kind of like the what I'd like to get to. Will there be any lubricants on Prototypist? I'm just going to give it away for free with switches. So like from the middle of this week coming, if you buy some switches or you buy a lube station or you buy some lube brushes, I'm just going to give people lube away for free. It seems silly to sell it when it's relatively cheap and relatively inexpensive. So I'm just going to give a little vial away with every bag of switches and just do it that way. Like if you buy switches, brushes or a lube station, you get a little vial of lube, and that'll be enough to do 100 switches or so. It just seems to make more sense to me to do it that way than selling lube independently. And James, if he's still watching, he's actually got the lube with him and the little vials to bundle it all up. So as soon as it gets shipped back to me, I'll start shipping orders out. Orders aren't going to ship Monday and Tuesday this week actually as well, by the way, guys. Unfortunately, I can't get to the post office at the times that I need to. With COVID, it's shut at certain times and I can't go on Monday or Tuesday this week due to other things that are happening. So any shipments are going to be delayed till Wednesday anyway. Unfortunately. Just one of those things, I'm afraid. Okay, almost there now with the soldering. Japanese Rat says, you mentioned optimizing the way you organize yourself. What are the 3 things that help you most in that endeavor? Writing down my to-do list every morning. So every day I start a brand new scrap piece of paper. I don't look at my previous to-do list. I write down a list of things to do, and then I will prioritize the top 3, the ones that must happen. I'll put a star next to them, and they get top priority for the day. The other thing that I do is if a job can be done within 2 minutes and I have at least 2 minutes free before I have to do something else, I will just do the job there and then without putting it off. Like if I get an email that can be done immediately, I will just do it. I won't put it off and then do them all stacked up. Same with any other jobs. If I need to wash a cup up or anything else, I will just do it, and it just helps my productivity and helps me to go. The third thing is getting plenty of sleep. As daft as it sounds, having a regular schedule works better for me than not. And I come to, so this is how my day works at the minute. I come to the work, I get up at 5 a.m, I walk the dog, I come home, I have a little bit of breakfast, I leave the house at 6 o'clock, I come up to the workshop, I get to the workshop for about 6:15, I'll make a coffee and I'll turn everything on, all the machines and everything, sit down for 6:30. I will do what I need to do at my desk, blah, 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 for the day job, do all of that until 5 p.m. I'll go home, have some dinner, I'm back up at the workshop for 8 p.m. I stay here till midnight, 1 a.m. Then I'm home. If I leave at midnight, I'll watch an hour of TV at home. If I leave at 1 a.m., I won't. And then it's straight to bed and then up again the next morning to do it all again. So just having a really set routine in place really helps. Will you be stocking the NK87? I don't know yet. I don't know. Honest answer, no idea. Went for Old Pulteney instead. Lovely dram. Yeah, Old Pulteney's really nice. Yeah, good choice. Are you planning on building a split keyboard? I have a few split keyboards. I might build another one at some point soon. My current build queue is pretty extensive, so we'll see when we get around to it. Okay. That's that all put together, all soldered together nicely. Next job is to put the gloves back on, because now it's time to put the case together. I'm about to buy the brush kit and I need Tribosis 3203. It'll be 205 grade 2 that I sell Good Guy Entity. It'll be 205 grade 2 that I give away for free. I'm not going to give away anything other than that, I'm afraid. 5 a.m. should be illegal. 4 hours sleep. Yeah, that's what I need. That's what I cope on. Yeah, my personal build queue is really extensive. It's rare I build customer keyboards on stream. Usually I just do personal ones. I've only done customer keyboards this past week because and next week because people have asked nicely for me to do them on stream. I don't usually do that. So I'm really paranoid about this, guys. Like, this is going to scuff and scratch so easily that I'm just really paranoid about it. Okay. Yeah, like, sleep is a good thing to have, but you just have to time it right sometimes. Get the right amount for you. Okay, I'm not going to put the bump-ons on. I'm going to let the owner do that because they didn't fit particularly well, the ones I tried earlier for this board. So we'll let the owner do that. Japan says just GTD. Not sure what you mean by GTD. That's an acronym I don't know. What are the best 65% or TKL keyboards? Aren't really expensive. The F18X is only $300 or so in group buy. I think that's a bargain for the price. That's a great TKL. Okay, I think we need this screwdriver for these. Oops. Nope. Okay, we're just going to install this daughter board now. We might need to remove this gasket just to get in there, we'll see. This is really awkward to do with gloves on. Oh no, we're okay. I think we're okay. Build queue is very extensive, dude. I don't even know how many boards I've got in my build queue. That's the worst part about it. Like, I just don't know. I couldn't tell you. Like, it's at least 25-ish in my personal build queue. Oh, that was the group buy price. That was the group buy price. Can't comment on the CU65 or the CU80, I'm afraid. Okay, so that's the daughter board installed. Let's install the cable. This feels a little bit short, this cable, but we shall see. There we go. I'm just going to tuck the cable into the groove. You can see this groove here. This is for the cable to slot into. Okay, there we go. Now we can pop the top back into place. Okay. There we go. We can flip this over. Oh, man, this is heavy. You guys can see this wonderfully shiny base again. Look how shiny that is. And we can pop some screws back in. Get things done, famous productivity method. Like, I know it sounds silly, but it really is that's a thing. Like, procrastination is the biggest blocker to getting things done, and like quite often you'll put aside not doing a certain chore because it's a 2 minutes chore. You think, oh, it's really quick and easy, I'll just do it later on, and you never will get it done. So things like that, it's absolutely ideal to try and just do as and when you can. So it's really simple little tricks, and it's getting into that habit of doing them. Abracadaniel, thank you very much for the raid. Party of 7 people, thank you very much for raiding. Hope you're welcome, guys. F18X versus Skog. Ooh, F18X, I think. Skog's really nice, though. I am going to give away the Skog that I have at some point soon. I don't know when, but I will give that away at some point.
Ooh, very nice.
Thank you very much, Mex on deck. Abracadabra Daniel OP. He is, absolutely. Thank you very much for the 5 months of subscription, guys. Really appreciate this. The contrast between this FE and the one Lang destroyed this morning. Yeah, right. I mean, I didn't polish this one. This is just how it came to me from the customer. And you can see that even the rubber leaves fingerprints on it. Like, there is fingerprints on there from the rubber. So it's a very easy thing to mark up. I'm tempted to ask if he wants me to repolish it. We'll see, because there are some marks on it that I know won't come out. Like, there's imprints in the metal here from the case that it's been in and the wrapping that it's had on it. So I am tempted to ask the owner if he wants me to repolish it a little bit before I ship it back and wrap it in some nice crepe paper or something. Just get a really fine polishing compound, January. Really fine polishing compound. Reach out to Urban Thay. I think he might be the guy who actually polished this one, but he knows exactly what it's all about. Okay, because there's some micro fine scratches in this that were there when I picked the board up, and it's really, you can just, if I get just right, you can see there is some micro fine scratches on this. These have all been here since I picked the board out, and they could polish out quite easily. They're just so micro fine. There's quite a few little ones all over, so we could absolutely polish those out for the owner if he wanted us to, but we're going to keep this down while we put the kit switches in. Not the switches in, the keycaps on. That's what we're going to put on, the keycaps. And this is going to use GMK white on black. And we're really running out of build stream time now. Now we're not touching the copper. I'm going to take my gloves off for a second. Whew. So I can touch the keycaps properly. FE39 hates me on a keyboard. There you go, man. There you go. Copper scratch is so easy. It's just because it's really highly polished. Any highly polished surface that hasn't been clear coated will scratch really easily. Like, more easily than you would expect. I'm pretty sure this doesn't have UK ISO in it. I think it just has basic ISO support. Yes, basic ISO support. He says missing at least one key for ISO support. Okay, we'll struggle with that in a second. It's also a relatively soft metal. It is, yeah, and the smoother surface you have, it's easier to scratch and easier to mark. like I think the swoopy ones that were made on it, that was as I lifted it out and the cloth moved underneath as I lifted it out. I think that's how it happened, but I'd really like to polish it again for the owner if he wants me to do so. Yeah, well, the new material, the hot boy on the material is not brass and it's not aluminium. There is a new material that's hot on the press, which is being used to make a keyboard that I've recently purchased. So, yeah, the brass and copper are old hat, apparently, at the minute. There's a new material for a board called the Sumo, or Simo, which is actually called ALBC3. Which is a really dense material. Oops, nearly dropped that then. And I've just joined a group buy for that, which is going to be interesting. The manufacturers actually declined to ever make a keyboard in the material again because they don't like it. It's difficult to machine. Okay. Almost there, guys. Almost there building this second board. And then we'll put the gloves back on. I'll show you the board up close. I'm not sure there's any point in doing any real sound test on this today because these are both silent keyboards. I put that the wrong way. Because these are both silent boards, so I'm not really sure there's much point in doing a sound test, but we'll see if you can hear anything rather than me type properly on them, because they will be very quiet. I have to stop. I always stop the music to do a sound test. Yeah, I always stop the music to do a sound test. Is that group buy still running? Japani track? No, it's not. The boards were $1,500 each. $1,500 each, and there were only so many slots. I got slot number 13 because 13 is my lucky number. Oh, we need arrows as well. I think Iwane actually got slot 14. Yeah, these are both for the same person, Odsy. So I own my own Iron 165. That's just over there. It's just off the camera. This one and this one are owned by the same guy. Yeah, he was in chat earlier on. I'm not sure if he still is. Okay. Okay, just about there now, guys. 2 more keys to go, and then we're done. That's the wrong page up, but that's the right page down. And there we go. Okay, guys. That's 2 Iron 165's built in just over 2 hours and 20 minutes. Next job is to test them out, get switch hitter up or via up, test them out, make sure they all work. And then from there, we'll do a little mini sound test. And then I'm going to get you guys to vote and tell me which one you prefer. But here you go, guys. This is the Iron 165 FE with this shiny, shiny, shiny copper base. Look how shiny this is. Hello, you can see me. These are clients boards. Most of my builds are my own personal boards, but these are absolutely both for clients today. Okay, let me get up a Via and share that on the screen, guys, and then we should be able to test that. Does that work? Okay, great. Let's steal this cable. See if Via finds it. If not, we'll use switch header. Vi does not like this board. Let's try getting switch here up. Oh wait, it's not typing. It's not typing. Face revealing the reflection. Yeah. It's making the noise. It made the noise. Yeah, you're right. It's just not finding anything. Hold on. Let's go back to the TKL from here that we know works. Let's get Via back up and let's use the switch here in that. Okay. Let's try this board instead. It's making the noise, guys. It is making the noise. Did I flip the switch on the PCB? I assumed there was No, I didn't forget the cables, Gio. I probably forgot to flip the switch on the PCB. It's making the noise. It's there. Let's assume they work. I'll test them after the stream for you, Butterface. I'll test them after the stream. And you need to let me know if you want me to polish this base again, because the way I've taken it out, I think there are some slight marks on it. So let's do that after the stream. I'll test them after the stream. And what we'll do now is we'll get chat to vote. Let me put the gloves back on just to lift this up, because I'm conscious that I might end up touching the copper base if I don't. Trying to not touch it, but let's make sure I don't. So guys, I'm going to get you guys to vote, and whilst we have the vote on, you guys can tell me which you prefer. So let's do a new poll, and whilst you guys are telling me which you prefer, I'm going to do a little bit of a typing test. So which board? I can't type with gloves on. And we're going to go for the plum or the copper. Okay, so I'm going to start the poll. We're going to run it for 5 minutes, and you guys are going to tell me which board you prefer. Don't have to vote straight away. I'm going to show the boards first off. You guys can let me know which you prefer, and then we'll do a quick typing demonstration. I'll pause the music. We'll do a quick typing demonstration. And you guys can vote all during this time as well, and let me know what you guys think, okay? So there we go. The poll is live. This is the first board. This is the FE edition, the Iron 15 FE in black and copper. It has been polished to this high luster, which has now got fingerprints on it. From these are just glove prints. That's how sensitive this board is. That's just glove prints. So we'll need to polish it again, which I'll do for the owner. But it is highly polished. You guys can see me in the reflection just there. This is what it looks like from the back. All absolutely beautiful and stunning. Or alternatively, there is the Plum Iron 165 Standard Edition with the black base and copper wearing GMK Bingsu. Yeah, they're both not going to sound great because they're silent switches, but you guys need to pick which one you prefer. So let's do a little bit of a typing comparison. I'm not going to type on these properly. I'm just going to make sure the music doesn't come back on. And you guys let me know which you prefer the sound of. I'm going to take my headphones off so I can hear as well. Super silent, really, really silent. Okay, that's really, really silent. You guys probably can't even hear that. Let's try this one. Oh, so this actually has a little bit of sound to it. But this one I can't even hear. Like the only noise off this one is my fingers touching the keycaps. I mean, that's really, really quiet. Like, I have to hammer it to get a noise out of the cap. These are silent alpacas, and these are Securios. That's really, really, really quiet. Like, if you want a quiet keyboard, that is really quiet. I think these feel nicer as a key switch. Yeah, I think the Helios feel nicer as a key switch. These feel like they're slightly restricted on travel. Like, it doesn't feel like the right amount of travel. Don't know. Maybe that's wrong. Mic is turned off. It's not turned off, isn't the mic? You can hear me talking, right? Let's put the music back on. Okay, so that's the two board, guys. I hope you're voting to which you prefer, whether you prefer the copper version or the standard edition. But if you want a really quiet board, guys, this, I can't even hear this. Like, there is no noise at all from this one. Like, no noise at all. There's a little bit of noise from the Securios, the Zeal switches. But yeah, there is no noise whatsoever from the Silent Alpacas. First time I've tried them, so very, very, very quiet. Like, it's crazily quiet. Like, just to give you guys a view on how quiet that is, let me show you what the tin sounds like. This is the tin in comparison. Like, that's the difference. Like, even if I bring the mic all the way over to this board, you'll be able to hear the tin. That's kind of crazy silent. That's kind of crazy quiet. Theramin says I should send him to test out because he doesn't believe that that's how quiet they are. Yeah, they're really, really quiet. They're incredibly quiet. So when's the sound test? There you go, guys. There you go. There's definitely time and place for silent switches. If you're in a large office and you want to use a really nice board, yeah, I can absolutely see it. Yeah. So is Butter still around? Is Butterface still there? If he is, I'm going to tell him what I'm going to do. So Butterface, so I'm going to polish this again on the base for you, which means that it's going to take me an extra day or two to ship it back. If you'd like this board in the meantime, let me know and I can ship this board back while I polish this one. It's probably going to be Tuesday. It's probably going to be Wednesday or Thursday before I get a chance to polish it for you. But I will absolutely polish it and make sure it's in exactly the same condition as it was when it arrived here, because it has slightly, I mean, it's just that shiny and you just touch it in any wrong way and it gets a mark on it. I'll use new gloves and I'll polish it all up nicely. I've got some car buffing machines and stuff, so I will polish it up nicely, get it back to a nice luster, but it will be later on in the week before I do that. So if you want this board shipping back, let me know and we can do that in the meantime and then ship this one back afterwards. Absolutely happy to do that. The FE came like that. Okay. I was worried that I had done it. I was really worried that I had got those marks on it, but I will give it another polish for you. I'll give it another absolutely beautiful polish on there for you, and I won't touch it. It'll go back into the box upside down, and it'll be all fine. Yeah, ship them both together. Okay, cool. We can definitely do that. Okay, so the winner was, out of you guys, 63% of you absolutely preferred this board. You liked this board better. I'll also find you some new bump-ons as well, Butterface, that you can use. Because the ones that came with the, at least with this board, the plum board, they didn't quite fit, so I will make sure that I've got some that do fit for you as well. Put those on there. I mean, it is just absolutely stunning, though. The glove prints are me, I know that, but there are some marks that you can see just here. I didn't notice them when I was unpacking the build before, but if they were there before, I'm glad. That means I'm off the hook for them, but we can fix them anyway. So badass, the copper one. It's so heavy. As I'm going to polish the base, I wasn't going to do this, but we can actually weigh them and see what the weight difference is between the two. So I am going to wrap this one up just so I don't scuff it anymore. Although it's not really scuffed, but we'll turn the scales on and let's see how much this one weighs, and then let's see how much the other one weighs. So bear in mind we've got the weight of the cloth as well. Oh god, I can't even pick it up now. There we go. Bear in mind this has got the weight of the cloth as well. This one weighs 8 pounds 3.5 ounces, which in grams is 3.73 kilograms. 3.73 kilograms. And this one, which won't get scratched on here, this one weighs 1.97 kilograms. So 3.73 to 1.977. That's the difference in terms of kilograms. It's super duper heavy. It's nearly twice the weight. Like, when I say it's heavy, I'm not joking you. It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So there we go. That's those two there. And if you guys give me 1 second, I'll actually grab my iron as well, so we can actually see what the white iron looks like in comparison. So this is my personal iron 165. It's a little bit dusty, but you can see this is what the white version of the board looks like. My base is a little bit tarnished in places, and this is what it, you can see my fingerprints on that. I want it to go tarnished, so I'm actually going to tarnish it myself at some point. But yeah, this is the sandblasted finish. In fact, let me turn these over. This is the sandblasted finish versus the polished finish. Which do you guys prefer, the polished or the sandblasted? Polished or sandblasted? Bear in mind they're both a little bit dirty right now. What number is mine actually? Mine is number 13 and this is number 6. So there you go. Polished, polished, sandblasted. Sandblasted forever. Sandblasted. Sandblasted. Yeah, people like different things. But there we go. When was the last time, guys, you saw 3 165's next to each other? Whew. There we go, guys. Looks, polished, practicality, sandblasted. You'll say polished because you don't have to maintain it. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't have a polycarbonate iron. I really don't. I wish I did, but I don't. So there you go. I mean, oh my god. I don't even want to think about how much money's worth of keyboards is there. There's a tinned, 3 irons, an F1, and an oceanographer prototype. All on one desk. That's kind of crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really scared about moving this around. Like, it's so easy to damage it. V2 is going to be on Group Buy soon. I think so, yeah. I've heard it's going to be the end of the month. It has a new teal colour, which is very similar to this. So, yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm probably going to buy one. But there we go, guys. That's all 3 of them built. 2 built on stream today. Mine was built about, what, 8 months ago now? 9 months ago? But yeah, I haven't used it for a while. I really should. I don't know if it's going to be raffle or first come first serve. It's not up to me, guys. I'm not a vendor for it, so I don't know. I really don't know how it's going to run. Polished copper with grey in would be dope, though. Maybe I should polish mine as well. Maybe I should polish them both at the same time. Maybe I'll polish them both at the same time and see how it goes. Who knows? Okay, right. Final questions then, guys, before I find someone to raid. I'm going to take these gloves off so I can actually use the mouse. I'm not very good in gloves when it comes to using or typing. So let me find someone to raid where you guys ask any final questions that you want to ask. Okay, let me see who is live right now. Stash and Heine. We'll key stream as well. I think Heine's playing football, so we won't do that, but we'll probably go and raid key stream. Let me set that up and then I'll answer any final questions. Okay, so that's going to raid him in just a few seconds, and we'll raid him shortly. Thank you very much for watching, guys. FE is never running again, correct? I have heard that. It's Koi raffle, not first come first serve. I don't know what Koi means, but okay. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome. Thank you very much for being here, guys. Let's go and raid Keystream in the next couple of minutes. I want you guys to be really positive to him. Tell him he looks amazing, okay? Tell him he looks absolutely fantastic and that we're going to share the whole of the world with him and we love him very much. That's what we need to do, okay? I'm going to run the outro now. Thank you very much for being here, guys. I'll see you again soon. Thank you very much.